Good evening, or good day. Hello. Welcome to Facebook Live. Oh, lovely. Got some people joining now. That's great. I need to put my glasses on so I can read who it is that's joining us. Hi, Eileen. Hi, Philippa. Hello, Louise. Hi, Tracy. Oh, this is lovely. Great. Can you hear me okay? Hello, Sonia. Hope I don't sound like Mickey Mouse this time. Hi, Jill. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Elaine. Oh, brilliant. If you can just send me some hearts that you can hear me, that would be great. Hi, Sue. Yay! Clear sound, sharp picture, and all the right way up. What could we want? It's early days, Eileen. It's early days. Hi, Angela. Hi, Lynn. Excellent. Right. I'm going to do a special Facebook Live tonight. I am doing it in conjunction with Crafts You Love, which is a local craft shop to myself. It's literally about 10 minutes from where I live. It's a beautiful craft shop, so if you haven't been, it is well worth going and having a look. They stock a fabulous range of products. If it's too far to go, then they do obviously do mail order. They do a fabulous mail order service. So yeah, I can't recommend them highly enough. Paula, who owns the shop, really lovely lady, known her for donkey's years, and I always went to Crafts You Love to buy things because they were one of the companies that always got the brand new American things in. So I always knew that Paula had Hero Arts, she had Penny Black, lots of the big American names. And when I went to the shop the other day, there's lots and lots of beautiful things there. So take a look at the website. They do plenty of offers as well, fantastic offers. My good friend Kaz works there as well, which is another bonus. Hi, Dawn. So yeah, it's a really lovely shop to go and have a look round. They do workshops, make and takes, things like that as well. And if not, like I say, if it's too far to go, then definitely have a look on their website, because they've got a really lovely website too. So I'm going to show you a technique tonight that I've recently just learnt about, which absolutely amazing. So it's so simple and it's so clever, so I wanted to pass that on to you. And I'm using one of the stamp sets that's available from Crafts You Love, and it is, let me get that, it is a Marianne Design stamp set with lots of little flowers. You get the outline flowers, but then you also get the solid flowers, so you can do them like layering flowers, which is absolutely fabulous. There's loads of leaves on there as well, which is always really good. And they've done them so they go both ways, which is so important. Really, really lovely pack there. So got little ones here that you can put on the end of stems as well, so you can make your own flowers. And then I love, on the back of the packaging, they give you this idea for showing you how to do the create a circle and everything, how to do it with a sentiment in the middle but having the flowers popping out from underneath, how to layer the flowers up as well. So I just thought it was a really lovely pack, really good value, and there's loads of stamps in there. So I'm going to flip you over and then you can have a look. Oh, Brenda, is it really the first online shop that you ever used? That's fantastic. And they are brilliant with their mail order service, so highly recommend them. I'm going to flip you round so that you can have a look, and I'm just going to run through what I've used to create the card tonight, so bear with me a minute. I'll switch you round. So this is the card. I'll just put my cover back over so I'm hiding all the bits underneath. Let's just get it right. So this is the card that I've made using that stamp set. Now it was a technique that I've learnt from a YouTube video, which is absolutely brilliant, and it is actually 4 steps to stamp this, which I think is incredible. So I will just show you the bits and pieces, but this is the card that I'm going to show you tonight, how I made this. And just look at that embossing. I've used the Wow embossing, I love that platinum, and I've used the background, this soft pink, is actually an old card blank that I had from Crawford Cards when we did the coloured ones, and I've just cut the front down because I just wanted to do one colour. I will show you some other cards as well that I created. So I also made this one. Now this one gives it away really how the technique works, because you've got like the 4 areas that you're going to stamp, and it's very obvious with how I laid the stamps out. So that's just something to think about when you are doing, when you're actually putting them down on your you do need a stamping platform to do this, but it's, well, or a big block. You could do it with a big block actually, but it just shows you, like, really think about how you lay your stamps out. So that was another one that I did, and then this was the first one that I did, and again it's just shows very simply how I've broken it up into quarters. So it's when I progress. So I made this one first, and then I made this one, and then I made this one. So it's just by using them, and I wanted to show you them all because sometimes it's good to see how, you know, like the fact that it started with that one, and just by thinking, okay, I need to bring a few more stamps in, and then again thinking about how it was going to overlap, and like having edges that are not so straight. So I just put it, I offset them, but I'll show you how I laid them out anyway. So there were the 3 cards that I made, and then I wanted to show you that these stamps are actually layering stamps. So you get the solid background. Now I did this with a block, I didn't use my stamping press for this, hence I haven't lined everything up perfectly, but I don't think it matters because I think they're that type of stamps. But you get the solid colours for the background, and then I've actually, what I did was, because isn't it always the way, my mum's borrowed some ink pads, and they're the ones I wanted to do this card. She never borrows stuff, or not very often, and it's odds law that she borrowed them, so I didn't have them for today. Anyway, so what I did was I stamped the solid colour using my distressed oxides, but I stamped it off once first of all, and then I huffed on it, and then I stamped it down, so you get a 2nd generation stamp. So I got a paler colour, and then I used the same colour to go over the top to give me that detail. And then I did the, again with the purple as well, so I did the same way. But I just thought I wanted to show you that they are actually layering stamps, so you could do that as well. Oh, hi Eunice, nice that you could join us, that's lovely. Okay, so I'm just going to move the bits of cards so you can see all the bits and pieces that I have underneath, and then I will get started. So here we go. I had laid it all out perfectly. So I've got my piece of pink that was a card that I've cut down into a piece of card that I'm going to layer onto a piece of black, because I do think that black border around it really set it off. And then I've got a white 6x6 card that's going to go onto as well. I've obviously got the set, those beautiful set of Marianne stamps, the Floralia, however you say that. But all these beautiful stamps, you've got butterflies in here as well. Just got such a mixture, and lovely with the little dots as well, so great to fill in the backgrounds. It was a really good set of stamps, perfect. I'm going to use embossing powder, even wow, embossing powder, and I'm going to use this beautiful embossing ink pad, which I highly recommend. It is really, really good ink pad. And I'm also going to be using the Wow Platinum, which is one of my favourite colours, I have to say, at the moment. I've got a little bit of Stickles, Stardust and Liquid Pearls in Ballerina, just because a card isn't complete without that. I've got my water brush, I've got my anti-static bag, I've got a sentiment that was one of Crawford Cards ones, I've got a pink sponge, and I've got my pickled or picked raspberry distress oxide. Then I've got my stamping platform, which I have loaded up with my stamps, which I'm going to show you how I've actually placed them in a second. And then the magic tool is this piece of vellum, which you can do it any size, but you need your piece of vellum to be exactly the same size as your piece of card, and you need the stamping press to do it as well. So with my piece of vellum, I went from corner to corner, and then I went straight through the middle. So I went vertically and horizontally, so that you have that little setup, so that when you're placing your stamps down on your piece of card, you'll be able to use this as a guide and know where to place everything. So I'm just going to move some bits out of the way and we'll get started. Let's pop that all up. Oh, and I'm using my Wow heat tool, which I love, I have to say. It is very, very hot. Okay, so with my, I'm just going to try and leave the stamps roughly where I wanted them. So you start off by placing your piece of card that you are doing your stamping onto into your stamping press, nicely into the corners, so it's held down nicely. Then you're going to place the piece of vellum, and that needs to be with the magnets on the top. I try to do it with them underneath, it doesn't work. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take some stamps and you are going to start placing these on your piece of vellum. So I'm going to work in this top corner to start with, and I'm going to take a variety of stamps, different flowers, and place them in that little section. So I'm ready, or I will be ready to stamp those out. So we can have some leaves as well. And there is such a variety of different patterns and designs in this pack. It is just, in that stamp set, it is just brilliant for this. Now, play around with how you position your flowers as well, so that you can get them as close as possible. I did trim a little bit of the excess clear polymer away from some of the stamps, so don't be afraid to do that. As long as you don't cut into the actual stamp, you can always cut bits and pieces off as well. So when we get over here, I want to make sure that I stay roughly inside that line, but don't be afraid to have little bits overhanging. That will work absolutely fine. So like I've got a few of the little dots overhanging there. So we've got lots of little stamps, which just makes this so ideal to use this set to do it, because you have so many little designs that make this really easy to do. So we'll put the little rose up there. We'll have the daisy down there because it will go inside the leaf a little bit better. I'm going to put my butterfly at a bit more of an angle, and then I've got some little dots. But you have loads of stamps that you can use as fillers. So I'm not going to worry about this section here, because, might bring that down just a fraction. I'm going to put my circle sentiment in the middle. So I know that that centre section doesn't need any stamps underneath it. So I can just make sure that I'm going to have a nice area. But I've got this, it's not a straight line now, it just works much better. So I'm going to shut my stamping press and press down to pick all those stamps up. And then I'm going to remove my piece of vellum, take that away, pop my magnets back on so that I know it's holding it in the right place. Then I'm going to use my anti-static bag and then my gorgeous Wow embossing ink pad, because it is so sticky and it's such a good embossing pad. I'm going to bring that over and I'm going to stamp those down. Hello Sarah, how lovely of you to join us, that's fab. Hi Jennifer. So just pushing that down, firm those down, take the magnets away. Got a piece of scrap paper so that I can put my embossing powder on. And I'm going to sprinkle my platinum over the top, and then make sure I cover all those little designs. Give it a good tap. Make sure I get that butterfly right up in the corner nicely. Yeah, so it's, the embossing powder has stuck beautifully to that. So now I'm going to take my embossing heat tool, and I don't think I'm going to be able to, I'll do it from the top. I know I should do it from underneath, Marianne, but I can't get it underneath and show you on the camera, so that's my excuse. But I have been doing it from underneath, and I have to say you get such a much nicer, smoother result. But right, so you can see that embossing powder is melting and going beautiful and shiny. Oh, I just love this. It's like a soft silvery, it's just a very soft silver colour. It's beautiful, this platinum. Highly recommend it. Lovely. So we've got that beautifully embossed. So now what we do, take our embossing away. We now turn this 1/4 So we then deal with the next quarter that we've got. We don't need to move our stamps because our stamps are all positioned, ready to go. You can just check that everything lines up okay. And I can see from here that that daisy is going to be touched by that leaf. So all I will do is just move that leaf down a fraction. So now when I bring that back, that should be better. So now what I can do is wipe it with my anti-static bag, because I obviously don't want the powder to stick. Ink up my stamps again, and then close the stamping press. So that's now when I do it, everything else should work out absolutely fine now. So press down, take my magnets away, bring my embossing powder back, make sure I cover everything. Oops, preferably not my stamping platform like I just have. Oh, I'm such a messy person with embossing powder. Okay, so now we've got that second section done. And then I can heat this, so it's going to melt that powder and make that go lovely and shiny. And this gorgeous soft platinum toe, it is lovely, this embossing, it really, really is. And that powder, the ink pad is so good, so sticky and holds the powder so well. But look, even on the camera's picking that up so well, just gorgeous. Okay, I haven't been able to read all your comments, so I will do it afterwards. So if there's any questions or anything, I will try and answer them. If anybody's watching who can answer, then please feel free to. So then I turned it 1/4 again, wiping with my embossing, with my anti-static bag, inking my stamps up again, and again closing the platform. Again, just check, but everything fits in perfectly. And stamp the stamps out onto the card. Remove my magnets again, bring my powder back in, make sure I cover everything. Just a gentle tap to get any excess off, but you can see it is fabulous, absolutely fantastic. And I just love there's so much detail in these stamps as well. They're absolutely fantastic for the price and how many you're getting. It really is fantastic. So just heat those up. So again, just look, how lovely is that? I just think this is so clever. So again, one turn. So just by layering all those stamps up into that one section and doing them all at once, you just can fill your cards up so quickly. Imagine if you did this with like a group of butterflies or something like that. You could do it with bigger floral stamps and not have lots of little ones. You could have not just one, you'd need more than that. You could have some nice leaves coming out as well, so that you could create a really nice little scene or a little bouquet of flowers. So again, sprinkling my powder on, but anyone who's got any little stamps, this is a great way to use them. Or, like some of you have already done, treat yourself to this wonderful set of stamps. Lovely to colour in. These would be beautiful as well if you did an inky background and just did them in white or black on the top of an inky background. They would look perfect as well. So now that my heat tool is good and hot, it just heats that up so quick. But you can see it's a lovely soft silvery gold. It is such a lovely colour. I've used an awful lot of this one. I'm halfway through my pot already. But yeah, lovely. So that's the Wow embossing powder there. So we've got our stamping done now, which I'm hoping that you like. I do think that is beautiful. So then what I did was I just used my distress ink pad, and I did this on my glass mat. Bear with me a moment, I'm just going to get a stamping block. When I did this before, I actually did it onto my glass mat. Well, I haven't got my glass mat here because of the glare. I don't want to do it onto my mat, trying to keep it nice. So I've got my water brush. Make sure my water's flowing, and I've got picked raspberry, and I'm just picking up a little bit of that colour and I'm just putting that down. So now I get to do the bit that I really love, which is the watercolouring. So painting and colouring in is just, I love to do that. So therapeutic. But you can add as much colour as you want. You don't have to do, you wouldn't have to do the colouring if you didn't want to. You could leave it just plain. You could have several colours. When I did the white background, I obviously added several different colours in one go. But yeah, just lots. You have the fun with the colouring, that's the thing. I'm going to colour my leaves as well. And I just did sections at a time so that I knew then that I'd coloured everything in that one sort of quarter, if you like. You can go back in and add more colour, so you can make the colours stronger in the centre of the flowers. You can pull out the detailing on the leaves if you want to. Entirely up to you. But I'm going to rush this a little bit now, because obviously you don't want to sit and watch me do loads of lots of colouring and adding blending and all the rest to it. So then what I'm going to do, once I've coloured this, I will add my sentiment and I will layer it up onto my card as well. So just think it's a really nice way. This could cover so many different occasions. Imagine if you did this with just leaves and you did it all in copper tones. Something like that. That would just look fabulous. If you did this and did it, you don't have to emboss it. You could just stamp it as well. And you could do it going across the card and not in both corners. I've seen a sample with it done where it's just been done on half the card. So it was just literally on half the card, and that looked really lovely as well. So lots of different ways that you could use it. You could then cut this down if you wanted to. If you find when you do it first time, you end up with some gaps, which is what happened to me. So when I first did, no, not that one, it was this one. When I first did this one, I actually went back in and added a few more bits, a few more details, and I just positioned those and then I did it all the way around again. So it was really quick and easy to do. So if you do find that, oh, it's got quite a big gap there or whatever, just put another stamp down and just put it in and do all your quarters again, and you'll just fill in those gaps as well. And the other thing that I did on the card that I'm doing here was anywhere I had a little gap, there was a little bit on the big side, I just put dots of liquid pearl, so it takes your eye off of it as well. So that was really easy too. So just adding the colour, and it's lovely because you've got that embossed edge to colour up against. I was going to say it's hard to go over the edge, but I have a few times, so I won't say that. It's because I'm rushing. Okay. You could do this as well in, you could, with your colouring, you could start from the inside and you could go outwards in a rainbow as well. So you could change the colours as you were going out with your painting, which would look lovely as well. There's just so many different ways you could do it. You could, if you did it on a white background and did it with black, you could colour in with your Copics, with your Pro Marker, you know, whatever colouring medium you like to use. I love using the ink pads. The Eyes Ink pads would work just as well. So you could pick out colours, maybe do 2 or 3 colours. That would look lovely. Some blues and greens and a purple or something. Right, so I'm quite happy with that. So I've got all my flowers and everything's coloured in, and because I went round in the quarters, I know I've coloured everything. So that's great. Hello, Kaz. You're late. I've been talking about you. You'll have to watch it from the beginning now to catch up, to know what I said. Okay, so I'm just going to pop some glue down, and I'm going to do it onto, I would normally put the glue on the back of this one, but because it's still a little bit wet, I'm actually going to put the glue, if it'll ever come out. Oh, this is when I haven't cleared up properly. Oh, hang on, I put it over here. When you have glue, you have to have wire, and I'd been organised and put it over here already. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue down and stick my pink panel to it. Normally I would put the glue on the back of the pink so I could go right up to the edge, but because the painting is still a little bit wet, I don't want to do that tonight. what I have been doing is, with a clean piece of paper, just putting that down over the top, and then I can just pop it down so I know it's nice and flat. So now we can turn it over and put the glue on our black piece, and I will stick that onto my card. So I've got that nice border of white showing all the way around the edge of my black. So again, just a plain piece of paper, and that way you can really firm it down as well. Okay, so then I've got my sentiment. So because I like it all to tie in, I've got some ink left from when I've blend with my ink pad. So I've got some picked raspberry left on here. So I'm just going to add, not put any new ink on there, just use what's already in my sponge so it won't be too dark. Then I have some fabulous foam pads, which I also get from Crafts You Love. These are the Stick It ones, which I really do like. These are a bit bigger than the candy, which is great when you're putting bigger embellishments on. And I'm going to run out of candy soon. Okay, so then I'm going to place this down. Now you can use your guide to get it into the centre. Then take your hand away and place it down. Okay, and then I'm just going to add little dots of my liquid pearls. So anywhere where I think there's a bit of a gap, I can just add a few dots and it will fill in any little holes that I have. But I'm actually quite pleased with how this is all actually fitted in beautifully. So again, if you work round in sections so that you know you're covering, you haven't just skipped, if you go here, there and everywhere, you can miss an area. So if you go round section by section, you know that you're always covering all those areas then. So just adding my little dots. I will then go round and just one more thing to do. And then I think, oh, I need some in there. Okay, so the other thing that it needs is just a little bit of Stardust glitter glue around the edge of that sentiment. So that will just add that little bit of sparkle to it and draw your eye into the centre there. So I just think you could do this in so many different colours. I think the stamp set is so versatile, really lovely. So one very easy card to do, 4 simple steps, and you've done a complete card, which I just think is phenomenal, that you can do that amount of stamping in one go and just fill up a whole card, the whole of your card blank. I think it's absolutely brilliant. So let me just move this out of the way because that one's wet, and I will use the one that's dry. So if you would like to treat yourself to the Marianne set of stamps, which is Floralia, however you say it, you need to head over to Crafts You Love, which is www.craftyoulove.co.uk, and you'll be able to, or there's a link actually, not on the top, I'll post it on the top of the video, post it on this video, but there'll be a link to Crafts You Love. And also, if you head over to Wow at all and want to treat yourself to any of the embossing powder or an embossing ink pad or one of their fantastic heat tools, I would just ask you again if you would, when you get to the till, just put that you heard about it from me. That would be great. Just click the Julie Hickey box, that would be lovely. But yeah, let me swing you around. I like to talk to you. Okay, so it's been great. I hope you've enjoyed that technique. I will be back next week for another one. I've already sussed what I'm going to do. So yeah, so I hope you can join me, hopefully next Thursday, but I will let you know definitely which night. And yeah, thanks for joining me, and have a go. And then send me a link, because I'd love to see what you've done as well. Okay, thanks ever so much, and we'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye.